Hello, this is Taria, your confidence coach for women, and I'm excited for day number 3 of the Summer Self-Care Secrets series. So I hope that you've had the opportunity to catch the first 2 episodes in this series. If you haven't, please make sure you go to bit.ly/FierceTV, my YouTube channel, and make sure you see my last 2 videos so that you have an opportunity to make sure you're keeping up with this series. So today I want to talk about this idea of letting distractions go and letting excuses go. And before I get into that, for anybody that is new, that is watching, I'm Taria Pritchett. I'm a confidence coach for women. I help women heal, evolve, and grow so that they can manifest the life and love that they desire and that they deserve. So I'm super excited because also tomorrow is going to be my 6-year anniversary as this confidence coach and working in this industry. So I'm very excited about that. And just, before getting on here, just reflecting back on the last 6 years and seeing, all of the highs that I've had, the lows, the successes, the failures, and all that. It's just a beautiful thing to be able to come to, year 6 and go into year 7, right? And 7 is the number of completion and 8 is the number of new beginnings. So just kind of seeing where, sorry, I had a cough. I was seeing where God is moving me and taking me in terms of helping women heal, evolve, and grow. It's just such a beautiful thing. And I really didn't start seeing an acceleration in the work that I do probably until around year 5. Around year 4, then around year 5, and absolutely year 6. And part of that was because I let go of excuses and I let go of certain distractions. And especially when I let go of certain distractions, I certainly was able to accelerate way quicker than I was prior to that, right? So, and that can happen in every area of your life, right? For me, that will be in my purpose area. For you, that can be in another area of your life. But I think it's so easy for us to come up against distractions or excuses or procrastination or, something that feels like a detour or something that feels like a delay. And then that kind of throws us off. So then it becomes harder and harder for us to put ourselves first. Hi, how are you? It becomes harder and harder to put yourself at the top of your to-do list. It becomes harder and harder to be like, wait, am I really going to invest this money in myself? Or am I going to go buy those shoes? Or am I going to, just stay in the hustling mode or the surviving mode, right? Because there are a lot of women out there who believe, hopefully they don't believe, but they seem like it when I talk to them, that they believe that we were just born to to pay bills and then die. I don't know about you, but that's not me, and that's not going to be my story, at least. And I know always when I tell women, especially new women who have never invested in coaching before, or they could be new to this world, like they look at Instagram, they look at Facebook, but like when I talk to people and I tell them, how much time, money, or energy that I've invested in myself personally, but that I've invested in my business, people are like, what? I don't know why people think that you just wake up and you're like confident, or you just wake up and you know exactly how to market your business. Maybe some people have a natural knack for certain things, and there are certainly things that I'm gifted at, but there is definitely a level of investment that I've had to put into myself. And also, I emailed you guys out today, that I talked to my own coach today, and she was, constantly like clapping, and I'm like, girl, like what is up with you? And she's a spiritual life coach, so she can see things because she has the gift of second sight. So I have 2 different coaches. I have an intuitive life coach who also has that gift, but not as strongly, but is way older than me and has a wealth of knowledge and experience in so many arenas. From the church to being with TD Jakes to all different places. And then my other spiritual life coach, so my spiritual guy, she's in the spiritual world in terms of looking at things from a perspective of like Kemetic culture, right? And that's from Africa. I'm looking at things from the ancestors, looking at things such as, your spirit guides and things like that. So I'm into that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you are. But I'm trying to show you I have two different things, right? Because I'm the type of person who will try anything at least once and give it a shot and give it a try. And if something I don't like, and there's been people I work with that I don't like and I don't fool with them anymore. I was like, oh, that's a one and done. And then there are other people that I really resonate with. So anyway, these two of my coaches I resonate with. But the reason why she was so excited is because I've been working with her for almost a year, which I shared in the email. And she was saying that she can tell, she can feel that I've graduated to a new level, right? And all the work that I've been doing in the course of the last year has all been around this whole idea of moving to your next level. And then she was like, explain your business to me again. So I explained it to her again. And then she was like, all the stuff that you do on yourself, you're then basically teaching them. And I was like, yeah, I do know that. And I said, that makes a lot of sense. That's always the story of my life. I always feel like I'm going through something that other people are not first. And then I learn all of the tools and the techniques and I survive the process. And then I go back and I teach. It's always been that way since I was like a little kid. And I used to be like, well, what is different about me? Like your life seems all easygoing. But then it would just so happen that I would go through something first. I would evolve and then others around me they would hit that place where they're going through it. And then it turned to me being the sage or the one who's always giving the advice. Again, even from when I was a little kid. So I guess that was my purpose or my call in my life. But anyway, I'm telling you all of this because in that email I shared that if my coach is saying that she can feel that I'm graduating, I started out with her with this particular process, healing process in certain areas a year ago. Right? So that would have been last July. We're almost to July now. But so often when I talk to people like want their husband to show up right now, or they want, that thing that happened with their dad to go away right then and there. And it takes time for things to heal, to evolve, and to grow. That doesn't mean that you can learn, like in my program, you can learn the tools and the techniques in the 8 weeks, but the implementation is just as important as you getting the information. And in order for you to really shift into change, you need to have a certain amount of time that passes, right? It takes at least 21 days to pick up on a new habit. That's why it's easy to have an excuse, or it's easy to get distracted or procrastinate, because it takes 21 days to shift to a new habit. And I'm learning now also that it also takes about 60 days for you to really have like a really big energetic shift as well. So I know this year I've been encouraging my clients that I work with personally, if I send them something that's custom, I always share that allow this to take you at least 60 days. I know we say 21 days to break a habit, but I feel like we always say that. What I find is that 60 days, you get a greater shift if you're being consistent with that thing for 60 days, right? And that's why one of my clients emailed me today and I posted it in the Facebook group, and she said, a lot of people are now saying to me, there's something different about you. And she said, is that my magnetism finally coming through? And I said, that's what it sounds like to me. And I can't tell you how many times I've received emails in that capacity over the time that I've been doing this work from women who have emailed me something that's very similar. I can think of at least 4 or 5 women in my head right now who have emailed me that. But that again comes with you saying there's going to be no more excuses, no more distractions. I'm going to invest in myself. And I'm not just talking about financially, but I'm going to mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally do something different that is going to take me to another level, another place. But in order to do that, as a woman, you also have to have courage. And that's why courage is one of the key things that I talk about in Powerfully Positioned Women Academy. There's an entire module around not just courage, but a couple of other different principles that I feel like as a woman that if you really want to be that grown, because all of us are women, right? And we're grown, but there's a lot of us who really don't know who we really are. And we're lost, or we're stuck, or, we might not have had a mother figure who really taught us, X, Y, and Z. Hey, Geneva. So we still need the wisdom. We still need the guidance. And keeping in mind that our mothers and even our fathers, they can't always teach us everything, because if they themselves don't know something, or they didn't heal something, or they didn't evolve something, How the heck are they going to teach us? And even when we come from backgrounds or homes that are like if you have a great dad or you have a great mom, like I have a really great mom, but that doesn't mean that I don't have areas that I need to heal, evolve, or grow. And the same is true with my own kid. Even though I am who I am and I know all these tools and all these techniques, that does not mean that he or she is gonna, make it through fooling with me, living with me, and not have something they have to heal, evolve, and grow. Because I'm crazy. Okay? Not in a bad way, but I'm just saying, I'm sure there's something that I'm gonna say that they're gonna hold in for like 20 years. You know what I mean? You just never ever know how something is hitting somebody or hitting yourself or your spirit. So that doesn't mean you won't have to heal, to evolve something, or to grow something. In fact, that's the very reason why we're here. So when we make excuses or we procrastinate of, signing up to go and get that master's, or we procrastinate calling our dad on Father's Day, that would be me, just for whatever reason, just based on past experiences, right? Then it's like there should be no excuses or a distraction, but it's easy to get into that place and procrastinate, or it's easy to get into a place of resistance, or to get in a place of fear or doubt and worry, like, oh my God, I don't know if I can pay for this particular, program, because I don't know, I've never done anything, I'm not sure, what if it doesn't work for me, or oh my God, what about my finances, so it is important to think those things through. Don't get me wrong, you really absolutely do, but it's also important for you to really check yourself, when the excuses are coming up, when something is distracting you, like that could be somebody in your life who is a distraction. It could be a friend, it could be a partner, right? It can be, you always on Netflix, that's a distraction. Social media, constantly sitting there going through, that's a distraction. And I know we can oftentimes lose ourselves in certain things, and it takes away from us doing the very important work that comes with focusing on ourselves. Sick of me and my excuses, putting everything and everybody first. Okay, Geneva, I like that. I totally agree. And that's also easy to do too. It's so much easier for us to be on Facebook and scrolling. It's so much easier for me to sit down and watch Queen Sugar, even though I need to even catch up on the last episode. I'm bad at keeping up the episodes. But it's easier also to be everything to everybody. Right, and I know I'm good for that, and that's why I posted I think yesterday or the day before, kind of my before and after picture of when I had gotten into a place where I had I guess put everything else in front of myself. And if you look at me in a picture, I'm definitely overweight. My hair was definitely all the way jacked up. I thought I called myself going natural, and that didn't even work out. And in that place, I was really shoving a lot of stuff down, and that was prior to me finding my current life coach that I have. It was prior to that experience. So if you go back through the group and you can see my before and after, you will kind of see the shift or see the transformation. But I had to do it from the inside out, which started with no longer making excuses, no longer saying I'm going to procrastinate on that shift or on that change, or putting everything and everybody else first. And that even means putting someone else first because I think that they are bringing into my life a certain level of worthiness, or a certain level of, I don't know, beauty or something else that I feel like I can't myself bring to the table, but I'm pulling from somebody else in order to make myself feel full and have this full cup, right? We oftentimes do pull from outside of ourselves, because if I continue to give and give to this man, that makes me feel worthy. If I continue to give and give to my job, somehow that builds out my worthiness, and then maybe, they'll recognize the work that I'm doing. Right? If I do that, right? So, overgiving and undergiving are both connected to signs of unworthiness, and not seeing yourself as worthy or deserving of who you are, right? Who I am and who I'm being, like that is enough. And I think sometimes we don't think that we are enough, or we're pretty enough, or we're smart enough, we have enough education, we have enough credentials, and then the procrastination starts, the doubt starts, the excuses start. Or I don't have enough time. But if you actually look at your time, like we did for those of you who went to the Fill Your Cup Challenge, a lot of you were like, whoa, I realized I'm giving my sorority 50% of my time. Like, what am I doing? Or I'm giving my kids all of this time. And obviously they're my responsibility, or, I'm giving my family all of this time, or I'm giving my career, my business all of this time, and then I don't have time left for myself, right? So it's so easy for us to get out of balance, for us to be distracted all over here, so that when it comes time for us to choose, are we going to get that salad, or are we going to grab those chips real quick? What do you want? You want the chips because that's going to make you feel good in the moment. Trust me, I know. So make you feel good in the moment. You don't want that salad, right? Because you need something to fill that void of you not filling yourself up, and you not taking care of yourself and putting yourself first. So here is just a quick little, acronym. It's the word no, right? Because we have to make sure that when we are saying yes to others, that we're not saying no to ourselves. And I think that is very easy to do as women, for us to say yes, 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 yes. I'll be there. I'll show up. I'll do this. I'll do that. But in saying yes to you, I have to make sure I'm not saying no to me. But I want you to start practicing saying no more, right? And let's see. So the N is going to stand for nicely declining. Yeah, laugh out loud. Nicely declining everything else if it requires that you put yourself last. So again, the N is nicely declining everything else around you, if that means for that particular day or that week or that month that you're going to have to put yourself last. Now, certain situations, you're going to obviously, like if you say you're pregnant, you're about to have a baby, you can't just nicely decline that you're not going to wake up with your baby in the middle of the night, right? So you can't do that. Or me, I just did a really big speaking engagement, and the month leading up to it was very much like intense, and I was constantly encouraged to not do other things as much and just focus on myself and just focus on that experience, because it will be a life-changing experience. So I had to nicely decline, right? So I only took on a certain amount of clients, and then certain things, maybe I wouldn't go out as much because I knew I needed time to practice and rehearse and get my outfit and just kind of get things in order. So it's really about figuring out what you're going to focus on. It's about having that tunnel vision. So for the next week or the next month or the summer or come the fall or whatever the time frame, you really have to learn how to say no. And the end is, again, nicely declining everything else that will require you not to be a priority. So you have to start thinking about what's going to be my focus. So what is your focus for this summer, right? I know personally my focus is going to be on self-care, but it's also going to be on certain aspects of my business because I'm a teacher. So I know summers are usually my time where I get to go full force in my business in a way I don't get to do during the regular year. So what's going to be your focus? And there are certain areas of my business that I focus on in the summer, right? So that's why last summer my focus was on creating something new. I'm a creative. I like to create. So last summer, my focus was on creating Powerfully Positioned Women Academy, right? And I made it from scratch. Week by week, I sat and I brainstormed and I was learning and I was creating and I was putting it together, and then I was working with the women who were going through it as I was creating it, right? So that was my focus. So if something else came up that might interfere with that, I had to make a decision. And that's where my no comes in. Do I nicely decline this because it's going to throw me off of my focus and throw me off of, what I'm focusing on for me? Or do I say yes, 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 and then I consistently and constantly get away from what I feel like I'm focusing in this season or this time? So again, the end, nicely decline everything else that's not in order with your focus for that time frame that you have set out. And obviously, every season or different times are going to require that you do different things. Like I said, certain seasons, if you're taking care of a parent or you're taking care of a child, or, if there's certain things going on, you're going to have to make those decisions. So just think about that more, right? So, and then lastly is the O, and that is to simply organize even your days, day by day. Organize that with you in mind. At what point in my day today, and that should be your first question when you wake up, is in what point in my day is there going to be time for me? Right? And this is not about being selfish. This is about you being self-aware. This is about you doing self-care. This is about you doing self-love. This is about you doing self-acceptance. Because if you get up and you start your day, and from the time you get up, you're making breakfast for him, you're making breakfast for them, now you're going to work for her, right? And then you got to leave work and go pick them up, pick him up, to get this food, do this. Then at what point was it about you? At what point did you get time to sit down and actually work on your purpose? but you went to work and made somebody else all this money, right? Or made sure all of their issues was working, right? So they're taken care of. When you leave, they're still making money or whatever they're doing, based on where you work. Right. So at what point were you able to take time and talk to God? At what point did you have time to decompress? At what point did you have time to just sit down in nature for 2 seconds and just breathe and let go? At what point in time did you have an opportunity to actually sit down and have a money date and pull up your bank account and look through what you have and kind of see, okay, I see I have this here and I see that there. At what point are you actually sitting down and taking time to visualize if you want to manifest, a man or a baby or a new opportunity or a new wardrobe? What time did you take today to sit down and kind of visualize what that's going to be like, right? Because when we're constantly on go, 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 and we're hustling, we're striving, we're doing, we're giving, when do you have that time? So that's why the O is to organize your day with you in mind. And no, that doesn't mean the whole day got to be about you, but are you going to give yourself time in the morning? Is it going to be in the afternoon? Is it going to be at nighttime? Is it going to have to be, once a week for a block of time because you need a babysitter if you have children, or, your son's going to be at, basketball camp for this time frame. So now this can be my time to organize X, Y, and Z, right? So like, when are you going to organize for you? That's the main question to think about. So again, let's go back to the acronym is NO. So the N is nicely declining everything else. If it's not in alignment with your focus. And again, at all times, whatever's going on in your life, even when something pops up that might seem like a setback or something you don't agree with or something you don't like, something that doesn't feel good, you still have to make that time to process even that experience. And when do we do that? Right? Because say you get that phone call in the middle of the day that your parent is in the hospital or something. The first thing you're thinking, oh my God, I got to get there. I got to rush. I got to go. Which is fine. But you have to have a practice in mind and be conscious enough to know that when you come back home and you actually get away from that, how are you going to process that, what just happened? If you get there and you see your parent there, that's already, emotions are already off the chain based on what happened or what's occurring. So at what point are you going to have time to decompress, to process the situation, to say, okay, let me take a deep breath, because if you keep going, doing, and showing up and moving here and moving there, then you really don't have an opportunity to really settle into the experiences that you have going on in front of you, right? So, and I know I like to be deep. So that's just the way that I think. Even when I told you guys the other day I had a car accident, it's like, okay, well, when do I sit, when I'm out there and it's occurring? Okay. But even on the times when I would come back in my house while I was waiting for the cops to come, I would start thinking, what is this experience here to bring forth into my awareness? Right? Because I need to be conscious of what's going on. So here's the thing that most people don't realize is that a woman who's a powerful woman, and she's a confident woman and she's a fierce woman, she's able to take all of these different things and she's able to process them, and based on her perception of what she thinks. So a powerful woman sees negative experiences or uncomfortable situations as opportunities for growth. Right? She sees them as opportunities for growth, or she's aware enough to know that she could be being tested as well. And I mentioned that in my email today, that there are going to be certain tests that pop up as much as you heal, you evolve, and you grow. And as I told you, my coach said I graduated to the next level. So now I was mentioning different things that are occurring, because she was like, well, what led up to our call today? So I was like, well, this, and this. And she was like, well, all those little things are actually little tests, because you've graduated. You're not who you used to be. And she said, and now this is who you are now, right? You position somebody, you're somebody different. So things are going to pop up, right? But you're not reacting in the same way. Hence, when I told her when I had the car accident, when I would talk to the police and I would talk to friends, when I would talk to the insurance company, they would be like, oh my God, you are so calm and so peaceful and so relaxed, right? But had this been like a year ago, I would have been probably calm, because I'm kind of laid back anyway. But I might have like really was like, what the, right? But I don't have to do that, right? Because that's no longer my reality. That's also not who I wanted to be as a woman, right? So as a woman, you have the power to create your reality, right? And as a woman, it's my responsibility to say, like, I accept responsibility for the experiences that show up in my life. I take responsibility and I accept things that pop up because I know I'm that powerful that I can create whatever it is that I want. Y'all see my bootleg Band-Aid? Why did I cut my finger on my yogurt today? Don't even ask. But anyway, it's like I'm at a place where I know that I'm that powerful that I can manifest stuff and I can create things to occur, right? And again, that's just being at a whole different level. I'm doing that and taking responsibility, but that also comes from me saying no to things that no longer serve me or saying no to things that are no longer in my focus area. So again, the N is nicely declining everything else that's not in my focus or your focus. Then the O is organizing your day or your time with you in mind. So again, when are you going to process the ish that you're experiencing or that you are facing? Even if you're, say, in a relationship, when is the last time that you got out of your head and you actually wrote down, something that bothered you that your partner did, or you actually, got on the phone with a coach or someone else and you actually talked about what's bothering you, or you actually went and you sat out in nature and had some time to decompress and kind of ground yourself, right? So there are the 4 elements, right? We learn these in science class, but I teach this to my clients in Powerfully Positioned Women Academy. There's 4 elements. You have air, right? Breathing. You have water, right? Which is probably my favorite one. You have the earth, or you have the ground, right? And then wait, I'm blanking on, the last one. The last one is fire. How am I going to blank on that? So those are the 4 elements, right? And those are easy things to incorporate into that daily practice that I'm alluding to that help you decompress a certain situation, right? What can we do with fire? Fire can create, but it can also destroy. Right? So it can create, but it can also destroy. Something like the element of air, that would be you breathing. So if you're walking somewhere and you're all the way stressed, are you practicing breathing in a way, right? I know that's something I'll be working on this summer, is doing that a whole lot more. I know when I talked to my coach today and I had told her, all the things that led to our call, what's the first thing she said? She said, all right, take a deep breath. And I was like, okay, right? She was like, take a deep breath. And when I took a deep breath, then I started crying. Because I had released all of the things that I've been thinking in my mind or working through on my own, but it's nothing like having someone else that you trust that you can share all these things with, and they're going to be unbiased and they're not going to be judging. So I have kind of processed them myself in my mind, but once I talked to her, right? So that's the power in investing in, working with someone else or having someone else to help guide you and direct you. So as soon as she said, take a deep breath, because I might not have automatically done that in that moment, but as soon as I did that, she just got quiet and she didn't say anything, because she knew I needed to decompress and I needed to process, and I needed that time today to do that, to let go, right? And again, that's what I emailed you today, and I think the title is like, I'm in tears and here's why, right? And as soon as I did that, I felt a big weight come off my shoulders and everything was like, right? Because I let things go. And in that moment, I put myself first, and I had invested the time, the money, and the energy to put my own self first, because usually I'm on the opposite end and I'm the one who people are telling me all of their things and they're putting all of that on me, right? And that's what I do, right? But the coach needs a coach, right? And if you are that person, and you probably are in your life or your circle where people are constantly coming to you or you're constantly giving, again, that's why it's so important to have a space and a place to go to where you can breathe, or, you can detox or purify yourself, right? That's why we go back to the element of water, and I teach my clients about using water, using baths, and using certain showers to gain clarity or to release everybody's energy that you're carrying, right? So for me, because I am an empath, and I don't know if you know what that is, but that's someone who can like literally feel people, feel their emotions. You can Google it if you think that might be you. I brought this up to my coworkers and they were like, wait, I think that's me. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. So I kind of explained it more and they were like, that explains a lot. And I'm like, yeah. So I constantly and consistently have to release and let go, especially because I coach. So I talk to women from all over the world all the time. And even when people find out, oh, that's what you do, they'll try to weasel their way over to me at a party or at an event or in some way because they know what my gifting is. And they're like, okay, well, let me see if I can kind of pick her brain. And I can pick up on that easily if somebody's trying to do that. But you'll be amazed. So people are constantly bringing stuff. And that's when you got to tell them no. Right? So nicely decline. If it's not in your focus, that's the end. Nicely decline. And again, I organize my time and my day and my energy to ensure that I'm protecting me and I'm taking care of me. And I highly, obviously, encourage you to do the same thing because that's an important thing for us to learn to do as women. And I will tell you, the more evolved you become, the more healed you become, the more whole you become, the more powerful you become. This idea of no becomes more and more important. And why? Because your energy, your magnetism, and your radiance continues to go up. When you do inner healing work, and that's why I posted my client who said, people are noticing that something's different about me. My other client in Canada, she told me the same thing 2 years ago. I had another client a couple months ago said the same thing. And when your magnetism goes up because you are releasing all that old stuff, you're not carrying the old drama, you're not repeating the same patterns, you're not stuck in your head trying to figure out your purpose because you figured that out. You're not stuck into relationship drama, right? Because you're not probably going to be dating, mating, or relating if you're still not at a place where you're ready to do that, right? And there are certain seasons when you should be doing that and certain seasons when you shouldn't be. That's a whole different video. Right? So, again, the more evolved you are, the more healed, the more of this kind of work that you do, people are just going to be drawn to you because they're going to notice your radiance, right? You're not just going to be just another woman in the room. Now you're going to be more attractive. Now you're going to be more radiant. You're going to be more magnetic. So you're more and more you're going to need to probably invest in some kind of support or some kind of help or have a system or process in place that helps you to deal with all of that that comes with that, because you're going to have new men that are going to come up. And even if you're already in a relationship or married, that doesn't mean people won't still approach you and come up. There's going to be another level to your purpose. Because once you've hit one level and you've mastered that, then God's going to be like, okay, she's ready to go to the next part. Right? So it's like, how do I handle that? You say no. Say no, nicely decline everything that's not in that focus. And then again, organize your time and your day and your energy so that you are focused on you, so that you are getting the most out of your living and daily experiences, right? The goal is for you to live a great life. The goal is for you to enjoy your time, enjoy your days, and enjoy why you're here. Obviously, as you're fulfilling calling and stepping into purpose and all that kind of stuff, but you want to enjoy yourself. And it's hard to enjoy yourself with constant drama. And here's the last thing that I want to bring up before I close out, is that on the spiritual plane, and as I said, we have the magnetism level, right? That you have what we call a higher self and you have what we call a lower self. Your lower self vibrates at the low level. Your lower self is you in your comfort zone. Your lower self is when you keep repeating certain things over and over and you don't learn the lesson. So you keep attracting boo-boo to food. You keep, eating the same ish over and over, but you know it's unhealthy. That's lower self. You keep having friendship drama, right? Your friends always seem to steal your man. You're living from the lower self. And I've had a number of women that come to me, and that's a trend for some people. That's the lower self. You constantly struggling with your money. That's lower self. You constantly procrastinating. That is your lower self. That's the self that needs to be healed, evolve, and grow so you can get to your higher self, right? And your higher self is that magnetic woman, that powerful woman, that fierce woman. But guess what? Most women never get up here. Most people stay down here because guess what? They're not trying to do the work in here. because they don't know how to say no. All right, they don't know how to say no. They don't know how to put the focus on them, or they're too afraid to step out of their comfort zone. They're too afraid to hire a coach or to invest. They're too afraid, or they don't want to implement certain things that they've learned because they're like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't trust that. I don't believe that. So most people get stuck here and they stay either in the lower or they stay in the higher. Most people don't get up there. But those women who do actually step out and they do actually do the work. So my clients who do, I have clients who have worked with me for 3 years straight, 4 years straight. They purchased 3 programs, 4 programs. All right. So in each time they're healing, they're evolving and growing. And I have people who have purchased a program and come back to it a year later, come back to it 6 months later, once they finished it. Because again, every new level, you might need to remind yourself. You might need a refresher. So as a powerful women don't do things alone. They don't do things alone. And the second thing is they don't delay. If there's an opportunity presented to you that is going to help you evolve, that powerful woman, that confident woman is going to really seriously take into consideration, what can I do to go to this next level? Is investing in myself, is that part of my focus for right now? And if you're in that season, everybody's not in that season. Even for me, when I do business coaching, and business coaching can run to $10,000, can run from $6,000. It can be $1,000 a month. It can be $300 a month. It could be $8,000 at once. One of my business coaching, she has a 24K club. What does that mean? That there are some clients that she works with that pays her $24,000. I don't know if it's a month or a year, $24,000. And guess what? All of those people that are in the 24K club, I consistently and constantly see them like next level. Constantly having sold out events, constantly booking people, constantly touring, constantly coming out with new products. Again, they invest in themselves at that's a very high level. There are some people who are like, I can't even, pay $24 just to get, that workbook or something like that. $24,000, right? So imagine what you put in is what you get back. So when we make excuses, or we allow things to distract us, or we allow ourselves to procrastinate or be in resistance, you're only holding your own self back. Or when you allow yourself to constantly overgive and do and give to others, again, the only person that's really being hurt in that process is you. So my overall message for you today is that it's time for you to connect with that higher self. It's time for you to rise above that and start telling other people no. And even start telling yourself no when it's things that no longer serve you, that you no longer really need to have in your life. You might need to tell that man no, because even though I like you, I love me more. And I could be with you, and that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm settling, but I also know that I have a certain standard that I want to uphold. So I have to tell you no, right? Because that part of me that's with you is connected to my lower self. And I want to go up higher. Now, you don't got to tell somebody all that. That could be your conversation with yourself or your coach or whoever, or your girlfriend. But ultimately, that might be a no. The same is true if your job is calling, I need you to do all these extra hours and all this extra stuff, or your sorority's calling, or the organization you volunteer with. You might have to say to them, today I have to respectfully decline because there's some other work that I have planned. And you don't have to tell people that what you had planned is you're going to focus on yourself. You can block out time on your schedule, on your calendar, and that time can be for you. And you can say, oh, I have something already planned on that day. Sorry, I can't come to your conference, or, I can't come on a date, or I can't do X, Y, and Z because I already have plans. Even if that plan is you sitting at home, kicking your feet up and, looking out at nature in the grass and just decompressing. That's okay. That is very much okay. But it's making that time for yourself is the most important. Again, nicely decline everything that's not about your focus. And then, organize your time, your money, your energy, everything, so that it's in alignment and focused on you becoming the highest, fullest expression of yourself. Okay, so I hope that there's something that's resonated. If you're catching a replay, please leave me a comment. Just a reminder that tonight, Powerfully Positioned Women Academy, the enrollment is closing. I definitely know that it is an investment. There is a payment plan. You can make 1 payment, 4 payments, or 6 payments over the course of the next couple of months. And the benefit to you of joining is that you get, number one, accountability. Number one, you are going to get accountability to help you say no. And also, because you enroll, just from you investing and enrolling, that automatically in and of itself elevates you to your next level in your life, right? Because you have literally put out a physical act and action into the universe that automatically shifts the energy of, okay, she's serious about, handling her business. She's serious about taking care of herself. She's really serious about taking responsibility, surrendering stuff that she needs to God, stepping into her purpose, getting her money in order. Like, she's serious about this. That automatically makes a shift. Then the work you do over the course of the 8 weeks also prepares you for the shift. So being in the program, you get video lessons, you get activities and worksheets. You get to learn more about those 4 elements. You get to learn more about going on that purification, preparation, and transformation journey as we look at Queen Esther from the Bible. And I also have a whole class on there for you called Self-Care Secrets, which are actually physical things that you can do to elevate yourself. So similar to, Esther didn't just do fasting and praying, but God also had her do beautification treatments and did stuff with oils and body and her skin and getting a glow and all that kind of stuff as well. So I definitely cover that in module 2. There's also a very close link between doing this program and deepening your relationship with God. There's an entire module on strengthening your spiritual and emotional foundation. There's an entire prayer challenge that you have to go through even to begin the program.